Frankly speaking, I feel quite awkward being a Ukrainian and speaking English to the Ukrainian audience. So please support me. Thank you. Yes, Francis, can you hear us? Hi. Not yet? Okay. Please support me again. Yes, thank you. Well, looks something is changing. This is the first on-air remote presentation we are having this UTIC, so things do happen. But I'll get back to the idea I expressed recently. So to be a success in industry-academia cooperation, you need to speak their language and know some rules. And one of the rules, which is quite, I understand it. I cannot get it because I'm also a part of industry, that things are happening very slow in academia. It's not only the blunder of Ukrainian academia, it's the specificity of any academia all over the world. As long as I'm learning this problem internationally and have been to many universities in Europe, in the USA, and have friends there, this is the specificity. This is something which makes industry and academia different. I remember we started cooperation with one of the Ukrainian universities. I'll speak about it later on. And we've been talking so long, for months, convincing them that they need a technology course. The speakers changed. So first we spoke to some group of teachers, then we spoke to the head of the department. Finally, we agreed. We convinced them that they... Oops. That we... Okay, great.
Okay, can you hear me now?
That's really great. We can hear you. Even better than me.
No, it's okay. I won't blame you.
Okay, great. So we can start. One more time, let me introduce myself. My name is Oleksandr Bondarenko, and I represent both translation industry and academia. I represent the translation and localization company Translatel, which is pretty long at the international market of translation. And also I am an associate professor of Central Ukrainian Pedagogical University. Francis, please, a couple of words about yourself.
Yes, certainly. So good morning, everybody. First of all, thank you to Oleksandr for presenting in English. I didn't have enough time to learn Russian or any other language between, a couple of months ago. So I'm very grateful that everybody is willing for me to present in English this morning. So my name's Francis Fenn. I'm one of the sales directors here at SDL within the translation productivity team. And I have quite a large responsibility with our network of channel partners. So I cover countries from Mexico all the way through to New Zealand. So quite a large territory. So.
Okay, so thank you, Francis. And here we start, yes. I already started speaking actually about industry-academia cooperation. Looks it doesn't work. Can anybody help me? Yes, when we started as a company doing it at a regular basis in 2013, yes, thank you. First, I thought, what is the most efficient way to show? Because being, as I mentioned, a part of industry and a part of academia, I felt all the discrepancies and all the problems of graduates being not ready and so on and so forth, even more than only industry representative or only academia representative. So my idea was, how naive I was at that time, is just I only have to show to academia that gaps do exist, and that will do. They will then fix the gaps, they just simply don't know about them. Being a scholar, we decided as a company to make an investigation. So by that time in 2013, there were no practical universities, only 3 universities with technology courses. No universities with official licenses from CAD producers, at least from SDL I didn't know and don't know. And teachers, as I used to joke, didn't know the difference between TM and MT, translation memory and machine translation. So we decided to conduct the first national competence survey. The aim was to identify the most critical gaps in translators' training to help with bridging these gaps. So somebody might participate in it, doesn't even remember. It was almost 5 years ago. There were 45 companies, 21 universities, about 60 freelancers, and more than 60 teachers from these 21 universities. We had 43 questions in 3 categories: experience and qualification, linguistic skills, tech skills, and every question that contained one competence was supposed to be, the competence was supposed to be graded from 5, the most needed, to 1, the least needed. I want to concentrate only on the one of the competence, CAD knowledge, and the difference of estimation. So industry estimated it is quite high, the blue. And academia, not that high, only 3 in score. So our aim as a company, we decided, is to bridge this gap between industry and academia, to raise the awareness that technology is important. This is the way CAD for Grad project appeared in 2015. First, there were only 3 universities. Initially, we planned to develop this project only for graduates. This was the last chance for them to learn about technology, about CAD tools, and then go to the market. All major CAD producers were invited. Practically, we had a webinar, sometimes even 2, with each CAD producer. Each of them gave some tips on how to use their CAD tool efficiently in the classroom. But in the long run, it worked best with SDL traders. And now I'm giving the floor to Francis, who will I guess, who will explain why it worked best with SDL out of all CAD producers. Francis, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Alex, I will need to get you to flick the slides.
Sure.
We shall go through this. So, as Alex has quite correctly said, SDL, we've had an academic partner program probably for, I should think, for about 10 years now, in varying different guises. And what we look to do with our academic partner program is to foster partnerships between academic institutes to ensure that we are enabling children, the translators and the freelancers of the future, to actually to leave their university courses not only with the linguistic and the language skills, but also those technology skills that they need to move forward in the workplace. So, next slide, please. So, as I said, our objective of the academic program is to partner with universities globally. And we partner with those universities that are teaching translation technologies, and we provide support for the CAT tool component within the language courses. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a specific language course. It can be a linguistic course. It can be sort of any language-related course. And we will help those universities to teach a CAT tool element as part of the degree offering. And what we actually do within that as part of the objective is we provide the CAT tool. So we provide SDL Trados Studio, we can provide service solutions, machine translation, and some of our other technologies, along with our expertise, our training resources, able to support that academic institute's curriculum, and also to support the professors moving forward. So, next slide, please. So What is the academic partner program? What we have found over the years is one of the things many professors actually like and prefer is a professor is there teaching their class because they have the language skills, they have the linguistic capabilities. But many professors, unfortunately, don't necessarily have the technology experience or the technology skills to be able to teach those capital courses. So as part of the academic program, we provide the professors with our training course curriculum. Now, not only does that include the slide sets, the presentation guides, the trainer course materials, we also have a very small Train the Trainer program for professors, which they can access online through an e-learning course. So therefore, what we're actually doing is we're helping those professors to prepare their students for a career outside of their university life. Alongside helping the professors, we're very aware that there are academic institutes, who unfortunately do not have lots of government funding, or they don't have a lot of funding as well. So as part of the program, we can supply universities with licenses at hugely discounted pricing for use both within their language labs for teaching purposes, but again we can also provide the students with free licenses during their academic coursing. And also for graduates, we do have a scheme that up to 1 year after graduation, those graduates from the universities are still able to purchase SDL Trados Studio, again at a heavily discounted price. As I've mentioned, there are lots of free resources that we make available to our academic partners. So we have a very active academic partner community where lots of information is posted, guidance, maybe some sneak previews on product releases. So it really is a community feel, and we encourage all universities that are part of the program to come together and to have those discussions within the community. It's also a great place for universities to share ideas and maybe teaching examples amongst sort of the whole community as well. So currently, to date, we have around 600 academic partners globally, and I think 41 of those were added last year in 2018. And again, this is growing. I think this year we've probably added another 50 universities to the program as well. So next slide, please. So as I sort of mentioned previously in my slide, there is a lot of benefits for a university to become part of the academic partner program. So not only do we offer preferential rates for buying classroom licenses, we also offer preferential rates around support and dedicated email addresses for assistance, because we're very aware that in the academic world, not necessarily, teaching a CAP tool is maybe not something it is the norm. So maybe a little bit more support is required from us to enable the academic institutes to be able to teach the CAP tool successfully. For lecturers, we make sure that there are lots of training resources available so that they can easily learn Studio as well, not only with the online community, as I've mentioned. One of the great things that the students actually really like, I know it's another test at the end of their academic year, but we do provide all of the students who have been through the program with the opportunity to sit and take the SDL certification exams. Because not only is this an additional qualification for them, this also means that when they are applying for work, once they have left the university, if they do decide to move into an LSP or to set up their own business, there is some sort of hard, concrete evidence and proof that they are ready for the workplace, they understand the technologies, and they are a candidate that is serious about a career in the localization industry. And as I mentioned, we're not just looking at students who are maybe in the first or second year of their degree courses. We also offer the program out to graduates as well. So we do have options for graduates to be able to buy licenses, their first, professional license for use in the real world. And there are actually opportunities within SDL for graduates for internships, which is available through the SDL campus program. So next slide, please. So I'm not sure of the audience. I don't know how many people in the audience today are maybe from a university or are a student themselves. But if this is something that you are interested in, you know, it's about teaching translation technology within the universities. It's about enabling the translators and people like yourselves of the future in the industry to be enabled with the right tools at the right time and to equip them for working in the real world. We are quite passionate about supporting students when learning a CAT tool, and it does offer us maybe a little bit more of a vocational route for your graduates as well. So if anybody is interested in becoming an academic partner, the details are on the screen. I'm sure you can speak to Oleksandr. There are a couple, sure. I know a couple of our partners there, I should say, at the event over the next few days. So reach out to them and to have those discussions with them as well.
Sure.
So with that, I will hand back to Oleksandr.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Francis. Before we get down to the other slide, I just want to make a bit of advertisement. Francis mentioned training materials. Having taught CAD tools for many years, I can't even say exactly how many, I should say that those were the training materials, the best training materials I ever saw and ever heard. Really, since SDL started early, they really use very good methodology in creating those training materials, and so SDL training is one of the best way to start learning CAD tools. Yes. If you remember, at the beginning of the presentation, I mentioned that we started with 3 universities, some back in 2015. Now, in 4 years, we have 19 universities in the project. And actually, there are 2 universities who are going to join the project in September, so there will be more than 20. In fact, we never planned them to be that many, but we cannot say no to a university, to the academicians who want to develop a technology course, and that's why there are that many so far. As for the options, the possibilities, many which Francis already mentioned, but besides the ones that were already mentioned by Francis, we also have. So initially we thought that my idea was, my mistake was to think that actually the only idea we need, the only thing we need to do is to provide licenses, the CAD tools to the universities. And since academicians, they study all their life, they can learn anything, they will do everything themselves. No, not in the list, yes. We started with this, then we provided technical support, how to install and to deal with the licenses and so on and so forth. Then we faced the legal aspects. Universities had to prove that these licenses are legal. So we developed some ways out how to prove to all the controlling bodies that the licenses are true from the producers and the universities have them legally. Yes. It was a problem in some universities. I remember in Kharkiv, for example. Besides this, one of the hardest hit that we are developing now is also creating a community of teachers who would share their experience, how they develop their courses with the universities who are only joining the project. It turns out that the level of rivalry is rather high among universities. How many do you think we have universities that teach translation and produce translators in Ukraine? Guess. 15, 19, no. 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 50, no. Almost 100. Can you imagine? 100 universities in Ukraine that produce translators every year and interpreters. It is more than in all Europe and in North America altogether. Can you imagine? Yes. But anyway, no, of course, we don't need that many universities. And some 5 years ago, I conducted another research asking, trying to figure out how many students remain in the industry. And it turned out that less than 10%, no, about 12% of students within 5 years of graduation, remain in language industry. It doesn't mean translation or interpreting. It also means teaching teaching foreign languages, being a kind of journalist and dealing with the languages, doing all kind of linguistic job. And less than 10%, about from 7 to 8% remain in translation industry, imagine. So it means that we just have 10 times less universities producing, but 10 times more efficient, and that would be enough. Okay, but this is not the topic we are discussing today. It's another topic. After having 4 years of, I believe, successful cooperation with universities, we decided to measure the efficiency of the project and see the prospects. So we conducted one more research. Maybe someone participated. It took place last winter. Anyway, 124 industry representatives filled in the survey. It was really boring and huge questionnaire that contained 61 questions. It was, you know, a fit for industry representative to do it. It took about 15 minutes or even 20. Thank you if anyone who did it is present here. As I promised, we are sharing the results. We are analyzing the materials now. So there were 61 questions, 55 Likert scale questions based on EMT model and practice and PACTE model, in 6 open questions, 7 question sets, respondent profile, professional experience and qualification. 18 plus is not the age limitation, it's the number of questions. Pre-translation, translation proper competences, post-translation. We paid a lot of attention to technology-based competences. And actually, it would be too long to speak about the whole research. I'm interested in this very competence, CAT knowledge. And if you compare this statistics with the one I showed you at the beginning, so as you see, it's much more optimistic now. The difference is much smaller. This is industry, and this is academia. So the gap is not that big. Now now academia understands the importance of technology. To a great extent, thanks to SDL and to Translatel, who were doing all these things. Okay, if you, after all, think you might be interested in participating in industry academia and academia cooperation, some tips that I promised. First of all, why it might be interesting for you. Why you might be interested to repeat the success and cooperate with academia, no matter whether you represent a company or you're a freelance translator, you're industry representative. You know something about the industry. You can share this knowledge with academia and be unique in this way. So first of all, new human assets. Even if you're a freelancer, sometimes you need to cooperate with someone. If the project is big, you need a backup and so on and so forth. Academia is quite a reliable partner to back up, and they may be helpful, to say nothing about companies. So companies benefit from new human assets even more. New blood. I never expected it to work like this, but really, even if those interns, and internship is one of the most efficient ways of industry academia cooperation, if the interns come to you and you share your knowledge and your problems with them, that generation Z, you know, they view problems differently. They help us to resolve our problems, internal problems as industry, as a company. So they may help you with this new blood, may help you with your problems that you might have if you share ideas with them. Social responsibility. Well, for Ukraine, it's something totally new. But we have several clients who wanted to cooperate with us because they saw that we are socially responsible. So they might want to cooperate with you as well. Routine breaker. This is, in spite of the fact that I've been teaching in my local university for 20 years, even more. I never expected to work like this. We have internships twice a year, in September, October, and in February, March. So we have a team of project managers, quality managers, editors and translators who coach the interns, and they can't help waiting the new group of interns because it's a routine breaker for them. It's something new, it's something different, instead of just sitting and watching the monitor 8 hours every day. So it works. And finally, the PR. This is what I'm doing now. We are unique. We are the company that invests in industry-academia cooperation probably most in Ukraine. And this is the experience that we can share and the advantages. Okay, the lows. How without them? First, different views of translators' professional profile. I don't think I have to speak much here. You know that academia views translation industry and problems in translation industry differently. One of the stereotypes of the academia is that we can teach anything. And the only thing a student needs is to have the diploma with all excellent grades. And then he or she is expected to be the best professional at the market right away, right after graduation. While industry is more moderate and more pragmatic. They say you can something, but you should also learn something to do it better. Different set of values and different incentives. Indeed, if you want to cooperate with university or universities even, you have to keep it in mind. If for academia, the incentives may be headhunting, for example, recruitment, or resolving the problem I mentioned, then for industry, for academia, it may be writing articles, getting the data that you can use in their researchers. And you have to sit down and to discuss all these incentives of your party you're going to cooperate with beforehand. Only then the cooperation will be successful. This is what we did with SDL when we started cooperating many years ago, say so. So we sat down and saw the incentives and agreed about everything, and I believe this is the only reason why it worked. Different project management methodology. Yes, and different ideas of deliverables. For universities, deliverables are articles, scientific pieces, textbooks. For companies, again, human assets, newcomers that will work in their companies, maybe resolving some problems, some scientific background that can help them to resolve the problems they experience in their company. So they're different, and you have to agree about them. Different project management methodology and different perception of communication, peace, and time. I just can give one example that shows different approach to management and resolving problems. There was a university. We've been convincing them that they have to join CAT for Grad and have the technology course within their curriculum for pretty long period of time, I guess for half a year. First there was one group of teachers, then they shifted, the head of the department joined it, and we were talking, and in the long run, the head of the department told me, okay, we understood it. That's great, we will join you. We just need a while, just a while, to think how we will incorporate this course into our curriculum. Just wait a while, this was the key word. For me, industry representative, a while means a day. Okay, a week. But they got back in a year and started talking as if nothing happened. So yes, so we are that and that university, remember we've been discussing, so we are ready and so on. No one remembered, a year has passed. Yes, and so this is the specificity. And this is the statement that I mentioned at the beginning. So if you want to cooperate with academia, you have to be patient. And you have to keep in mind that academia is doing things slowly. It's not because it's bad, because it's a specificity of the academia. And it's not about only Ukrainian academia. It's all about the world, in fact. So there are some formalities and things to be done, and it can be done fast. Yes, takeaways. If you still keep in mind to cooperate and develop your brand to show that you cooperate, giving lectures or whatever. First of all, evaluate the current state of the profession in your country and determine the gaps. So you may not have the research as we did twice, but you just have to sit down and think, what are the problems in the industry and the problems in training it at the academy side that I can help academia with. Let it be a small problem, but you're an expert in this problem. If you pick it up and if you avoid dispersing educational efforts, because I know many friends of mine, friendly companies that also we share our experience. We try to popularize academia industry cooperation. So we gave them methodology of internships and all that, that they repeated gladly only once. And then they realized that it's too much. They need a lot of efforts to do, and they can't afford having that much effort invested into this. So the way out is take a small aspect, find out a small problem that you can cover, but do it regularly, rather than investing a lot of efforts and doing it only once. So be regular and do it step by step. And consider the level of involvement. Find a reliable partner. This is what I already mentioned and repeat. So this is the key point. If you have having a reliable partner, like we with SDL, is a half of everything in resolving the problem. If you rely on your partner, you will succeed. So you will, the same can find a reliable partner at the university side and cooperate with this partner, not with every teacher at the university, but just with the person who is eager also to change something. And finally, facilitate communication, create a shared platform for the exchange of ideas and information. So, in other words, try to keep communication with your partner, even if you see that things are going well, like in our project. We are not lazy to meet online, at least once in a month or once in 2 months, and just to check if everything is moving okay, if the universities are not boring SDL too often with some trifles, and so on and so forth. So you have to make sure that your partner is comfortable. If you keep in mind at least a half of these recommendations, it's inevitable that you will have a success. Thank you. If any questions, you're welcome, if you have time. Yes?
Just I have the question for the training of the student in the correspondent university that I work with. So you are creating the community of teachers,
yes.
Yeah? That propose their training to the students.
Sure,
yeah?
Sure.
So is it just on a volunteer basis? Is it the students they must attend these courses, or is it just the option for them?
No, it's not an option. It's a part of the curriculum. We are not formalists. They try to integrate it into the curriculum in a different way. So there are different ways. As a teacher, I know this, and as an academician. We are not formalists from this point of view, but this is an obligatory part of the curriculum. So if they introduce it, then every student at some year is taking the course and having the result.
And so just it's a course for the. For example, I'm a student some universities that I'm studying linguistics, and every year I have, for example, a week course to be trained.
Yes, you have it once for 1 semester, and having accomplished the course, you have to take the SDL exam, and in the long run, you have the SDL certificate. So you have certification completed that you can put into your CV as future translator, that you are an expert that knows CAT tool. Yes.
And just concerning the CDL, is it just usual freelance, or is it some project-based software that they are studying in? What kind of software they are studying?
SDL? SDL traders.
CDL is a lot of solutions.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yes, they are actually having the CAT tool, and sometimes they also work with the programs. It depends on the university. But if the teacher is sophisticated and learned this, so they have also CAT tool, then the program that works with the term base. This is the minimum that they have. Translation plus term base. Yes.
Do they have some, I don't know, home exercises from side of the university
Great
to translate, I don't know, some poems,
sure.
etc., etc.?
If you remember, I mentioned when Frances finished her speech that SDL has the best materials for training ever. And as a teacher with methodological background, I can tell you that indeed they invested much into it, and they have brilliant, from the methodological point of view, brilliant training. So they have materials that teach you very logically, in a very step-by-step way. Practically, even if you want yourself, you can do it without any teacher, because the materials are so logical, and the materials are exuberant for you to have the course yourself and be an expert in CAT tools. Yes.
And, so just a question: if the students are working on the constant base with, for example, with CDL, are the alma mater creating some source of, I don't know, translation memories, the special vocabulary that can have access after being graduate from the university?
Actually, we are only developing it, but it's a good idea. Yes, this is what we are trying to do now. The community that you could have not only experience, but some materials that they could share and use afterwards.
Yeah, in such
recycle
a way,
them.
It could be the link
yes.
between the graduates.
Sure.
Usually just it's 10 years of the
yes.
university, perhaps you will see your group's mates. Yeah, or just your teachers, and that's all.
That's it.
There is no links with the universities and
sure.
graduates.
Very clever question. Yes, this is how it works, how it starts to work.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
How can a university join this list? Because I couldn't see a certain university in this list, but I guess they might be interested in this program.
Sure, no problem. Just I'll give you my card and that's it.
Okay.
We are not formalists. It's very easy to join the list.
Who certifies the students? The university or SDL?
No, of course, it's SDL that certifies. It's a very objective exam that they have to take after they have had the course. There are 3 attempts, and if you were doing well, so it's not that difficult to take this exam. And it's, again, before a teacher and university subsequently joins the project, they have to take, so we give the training to them, they take the training, they learn it, they take the exam, and only after they successfully pass the exam, they join it. So we have to make sure that we have somebody on the university side that can come and teach something. Just not about sky and trees, but about the CAT tools.
Of course, so there must be some requirements to the teachers
sure,
as well.
Sure. We started without this, but it didn't work like that. So universities took licenses, thanks for them, but nothing changed. They just kept them on the site and no courses and no development there. And then it was obligatory. And by the way, it's obligatory not only for teachers, but also for students to take this training. So once you're in the project, every year you have the course, you have to report how many students took the training and how successfully. It works a miracle at the university site.
As I understand, there's probably the fee the students are to pay for passing the exam?
No.
No?
Okay. Thank you for the question.
Any more questions on the cats for kids? No kids here? No cats? No kids? Well, I guess that's it then. Thank you very much for the presentation. Thanks to your second speaker. Unfortunately, she's no longer here, but... Oh, okay, great. So a big applause for Frances as well. Thanks a lot. Ну, на этом первая половина.
So here we complete the first part of our day. Now we have a small break, then lunch, and we come back at 2 o'clock.